Today, I'm going to fix NBA All-Star Weekend. And for my efforts to achieve the absolutely impossible task, please subscribe to my channel and help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers by the playoffs. You know, when the games actually matter. So, the event that it starts off the weekend is the Celebrity Game. And this one might sound a little bit old man get off my lawn back in my day, but I feel like we had bigger celebrities in the Celebrity Game. Not only was there always a WNBA representation, which was missing, Justin Bieber, Kevin Hart, J. Cole, Master P. There was always also like a retired superstar level or like high level star, like a T-Mac or somebody like that playing in this game. Now we've got Taco Fall out here dominating, while Shams is chucking bricks, surrounded by a bunch of reality TV stars and some online influencers and that sort of thing. But that said, just because the celebrities aren't all that recognizable to me personally doesn't mean they aren't celebrities. So focusing on how to actually fix it or improve this game, I don't need more gimmicks in this game. It's already kind of gimmicky, and we're already dealing with some people that, let's just say, aren't real hoopers. So the thing that I would do to fix the Celebrity Game is to take these guys, like Melo, like Vince Carter, these player analyst talking heads that we see across NBA coverage on all the different networks. Let's get them to actually suit up instead of just miking them up on the sidelines and having them be, pseudo coaches for the weekend. That takes us into the Rising Stars game, and I'm not sure this one needs all that much fixing, to be honest. There's one event this entire weekend where basketball is actually played in a 5-on-5 type of format, and the players actually try, and that's the Rising Stars Challenge. So I think that in and of itself gives it a little bit of a boost in my point of view. I think the tournament itself is more or less straightforward enough to understand, although there's something about needing to have a graphic on the screen to explain how the game works and having to remind people constantly throughout the game of how the game works suggests that maybe we've strayed a little bit away from the game itself. But there are only two events that are actually worth watching at the All-Star Weekend right now, and this is one of them. If anything, I think maybe simplifying it a bit in terms of how these teams are actually selected would be helpful. Rookies versus sophomores back in the day was super easy, barely an inconvenience to know who was actually going to play. To the point where I can remember having debates with my friends or trying to decide throughout the season if a young guy was playing well enough to actually earn a selection to the Rising Stars at All-Star. And now it's like kind of a hodgepodge across 3 different teams, plus you got a team of G Leaguers that are in there. I don't remember one time this NBA season watching a dude play and thinking, I wonder if he's going to make the Rising Stars roster. Not once. So if there's something to fix, I'd say we start by dropping the G League part. No offense to them, but this is the NBA All-Star and Rising Stars. Minor league maybe shouldn't qualify. I think it should have its own thing. I think you can showcase the G League at All-Star Weekend in some other way than the Rising Stars. But that maybe that's a side project. What events at All-Star would you actually want to see rather than trying to fix the ones that currently exist? Maybe that's another video. But anyways, I think that would help to insert a level of anticipation. Whether that's, and you can build on that, whether that's adding a voting element like the All-Star team selections or just pushing talking points through the NBA media to try to build up the young guys in-game and make the event a bit more of a spectacle, like leading up to it in terms of, hey, will this young guy I'm watching get honored and do fans truly even understand how they're selected and put on these teams in the first place? Like I said, it used to be very simple. Rookies, sophomores, play good enough, maybe they get selected. And we kind of knew how that worked. Do you truly know how it works now? I don't know. Oh, and a side note, I saw Noah Dalzell tweet a picture of a half-empty arena for this particular event. Let's make tickets to this thing attainable for the fans of the sport. I get that this is mostly a networking weekend for the league itself, but if you want fans to care about the product on the court, maybe make sure that the fans who actually do can be there to see it. And that goes for all of these, not just the Rising Stars, but this one was fairly topical. Now, those are pretty straightforward, but All-Star Saturday night is a roller coaster mess. So let's start with the skills competition. Let's make this obstacle course at least consistent and clear to follow. So many times watching this event, a dude runs the wrong direction or forgets what he's supposed to be doing, or it takes like 17 times for them to get the bounce pass in the right trajectory to the... What? It's a little bit overkill. I don't need more windmill props on the court. I want to see the best players on the planet try to beat each other's times through a fairly simplistic skills course, like it was back in the day. I remember back when there were only a couple of obstacles and they weren't super hard, so the guys could actually do them. And then you had times that were actually close to each other, and that got the competitive juices going for the participants, and because they were trying to beat the clock, they were trying to beat the guy next to them. Now it's like they mess up the obstacles so much, and there's so many obstacles and there's so much going on that it's kind of a surprise when they actually get through the thing clean. And if one does, they win by default. I don't want it to be, can they get through this thing clean? I want to know who can actually do it the fastest. So let's keep it simple, stupid. Let's see them actually competing with each other and have some sort of agreement that if you're not going to give some level of effort, don't participate. No cheating. No Anthony Edwards chucking left-handed threes. A dribble obstacle, a pass obstacle, a shot, and a full court layup, and let's see who's going to actually go for it a little bit. Not asking for anything crazy, just go for it. That leads us into the three-point contest, and if I'm feeling nitpicky about it, the different color balls and the full racks of money balls has gotten just a little bit much. I don't mind the addition of the longer range shots now that guys kind of routinely shoot from out there, but it's gotten a little bit crazy just to see higher numbers on the scoreboard when they're still actually making the same number of shots. But again, that's nitpicky. It's still fun. The three-point contest is the best event at All-Star Weekend. It's the only reason to watch Saturday. So we don't need to do much here. The one thing that I think that you do have as an opportunity to quote unquote fix or improve, the one event that doesn't really need fixed, I think that you could have a permanent crossover element with the WNBA. When Steph and Sabrina did their shootout, that was awesome, but it was completely separate from the actual event. Like, Steph wasn't in the event. They had their own event, and it sort of took on a little bit of its own glory for the weekend, and it kind of took away some of the attention on the actual three-point contest. I would like to see the WNBA three-point contest winner set up to be a part of the NBA three-point contest, like taking on the winner for a bonus round afterwards for charity or something like that, and use that as a way to continue to elevate your growing product with the W, but you don't stop there. I think you also bring the winner of the men's three-point contest to WNBA All-Star to take on the winner in the same way. And you keep going back and forth with this crossover part of All-Star Weekend, and you put it into the contracts for participating in the event that if they do win, they agree to go to the other All-Star game and represent and shoot around for a little bit. It's not asking much. Again, it's the 3-point contest. They're getting up jumpers. It's not like we're asking them to participate in another 5-on-5 competitive situation here. I think that could be pretty cool. Otherwise, make this the marquee event for Saturday or perhaps the entire weekend and call it a day, because it's the best thing that NBA has going during All-Star. But I'd be remiss if I didn't at least acknowledge this. Maybe make sure that the participants have a requirement of having actually played basketball during the season. But again, that's just nitpicking. Let's get to the one that's an absolute disaster, the dunk contest. I think there's 2 possible solutions to this, and which one you choose depends on your answer to this question. Do you want to see the coolest dunks, or do you want to see your favorite players dunking? If you want to see the best dunks, don't make this an NBA event. There are hoopers around the country who make a living participating in dunk contests. Host an NBA-sponsored tournament throughout the year, find the best dunkers around, and hold the finals at All-Star Weekend. They can be paired up with an All-Star to raise some money for a charity, and the winner gets to get a cash prize, and it's a culmination of kind of like a year-long event. Heck, you can televise the dunk contests all around the country. You can monetize the thing. It's content, and that's the world that we live in. That's why idiots like me are on YouTube in the first place. So let's see the best dunkers do the thing that they do best on the planet. But if you want to see your favorite players dunking, then I think you've got to turn the spectacle part of this crap way down. Props ruined the dunk contest. Giving guys like a minute to try to make a dunk that's super ridiculous and have the clock run out ruined the dunk contest. The biggest stars are never doing that again. And they never really have. When the actual stars of the sport were doing the dunk contest, it was simple, straightforward. Here's a ball. You get one try, so you better make it. Go do a cool dunk. That was it. When Nick and Jordan, they weren't out here missing 6 times and trying to jump over a car with a guy on a ladder holding a cupcake. Vince Carter, no props, just dunks. One of the best dunk contests we ever saw with props was a younger Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, not actually the biggest stars in the sport. Nate Robinson, Mac McClung, fun dunkers, not NBA stars. At this point, we've seen everything that we could ever expect to see at this level for an actual NBA star to do. And therefore, it is not a benefit in any way for an NBA star to participate in the contest. They're not working on these crazy, off-the-wall, innovative trick dunks all year long. They're trying to win basketball games at the highest level of competition in the entire sport, in the world. So if you want them back in the dunk contest, show them it can be fun for them to do it again. And that means bring back simplicity. Here's a ball, there's the hoop, go do something cool, and we can have fun. That leaves the actual game on Sunday. You can't really fix this. The Elam ending was cool for a couple years. We got a couple good endings out of it, but this one is pretty simple. No amount of gimmicks is going to make the players care or try hard on the floor. There's too much on the line for them. Generational wealth for their families. Ring culture legacies that if they don't come through in the playoffs, they are tarnished and smeared across social media and across full on mainstream media and all the podcasts for like years if they ever get past it. What if they turn an ankle and miss time because they were trying hard in an exhibition game that doesn't matter and their team misses the playoffs altogether? Do they have contract problems? Do they ever get back to where they were prior to hurting themselves at an all-star game? Because these guys don't even practice very much throughout the season because the games are taxing enough on your body. The all-star break is here in large part to help them get some rest and healed up to make a push down the stretch of the NBA season when the games should be most important. Football is over. NBA should be center stage. We're gearing up for the playoffs where things really matter. A meaningless pickup game is not conducive to what actually matters for these players or their teams, and quite frankly, for the league. So, we cannot fix it. The league cannot fix it. The only thing that can fix this is if a generation of players comes in and decides that it's cool to actually give some effort in this game. Maybe Wemby. Maybe Wemby's the guy. Maybe he tries. Maybe he makes some guys look stupid and they get a little ego going and they're like, no, we're going to give forth a little bit of effort now. Maybe he sets an example and the next group of younger all-stars actually follow suit. These rising stars, guys, that are actually trying, maybe when they hit the big stage, they'll still try. But let's be clear, this game hasn't been played hard like maybe ever. But it has gotten a lot worse with guys laying down on the court and making it a bit of a mockery. All we really want to see is a guy trying to stay in front of his man for 3 or 4 slides and not have a 48-minute layup line. That's it. The other potential solution is move this thing to the end of the season. Make it in celebration of the past season and an entertainment event. Does anybody around the NFL actually care that the Pro Bowl is a joke of a flag football game? No. Not really. Let All-Star Weekend be an accolade achievement. Maybe turn it into a bit of a Comic-Con for the NBA and sponsors while the players actually get some rest, get ready for the games that actually matter, and have a meaningless exhibition game after the champ has already been crowned. Otherwise, be fine with whatever we get and hope that maybe someone's going to show up and try a little harder and set a trend for other people, other players, other stars to follow. How would you fix All-Star Weekend? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to my channel to help me reach my goal, and go ahead and watch this one next.